You may be expecting someone to introduce me, but I'm not like all the other guys. So, let me introduce myself. I'm Narco, top 1 player in the world for several seasons, and I'm risking my life teaching you how to become a pro player in a matter of days, giving you the most valuable tips and tricks you'll ever find. Sit down, relax, and enjoy.
In this fight, I'll knock down one of them while driving the helicopter. Watch what happens next.
How that happened, I don't know.
He placed a smoke grenade far away from where the knocked guy is being revived. You can do that to avoid being hit by a car while staying behind the smoke, but in this case the closest access to them is through this entry. If they would have placed the smoke in here, that would have been a whole different story. Long story short, they placed the smoke in a wrong position, and because of that, I have 2 seconds to think about how to finish them. This guy is still on the ground while the other one got hit by the ATV. He's not down yet, but will be in a little bit. Notice that a 3rd member of the squad is engaging as well. Because I didn't tell my teammate that I'm leaving the vehicle, as soon as I jumped, I had to finish this guy, even if that meant that I have to get knocked down by his teammate. You see, it's not a good idea to rely on your teammates, but if you have him right there standing beside you, he has to do something. So, if I get knocked down, I'm counting with my teammate to kill the guy that was distracted shooting at me. I also have his house as a cover in case I feel that I'm losing the fight. Well done, teammate. There was a series of mistakes this squad did, but it all started when one of them got knocked down by the chopper. I don't understand, and probably never will, how some players don't realise that they're about to blow up. The only thing I can think about is that they have disabled the device HP. To enable it, go to your settings, then click on Vehicle Settings, scroll down and you have Vehicle HP. Enable that and hopefully that'll help. Another thing is that you should always have a finger on the exit button while driving a car, a helicopter, or whatever else those developers will add in the future, and when in danger, just press it and save your life. A lot of you soldiers asked me how I switch weapons when sliding. Is this what you were talking about? Well, it's pretty easy. We have to go to settings again. Once in there, make sure you select BR mode, then go to basic, and in there you have the option quick weapons switch. Turn that on and you're good to go. The thing to remember though is that in a way to perform this technique successfully, you have to press first on the weapon that you want to switch and then press the sliding button. If you do it all the way around, it's not gonna work. Good luck, my friend. Patience, patience, and more patience. Discipline as well. We are 2 against 1, but look at the safe zone. It's right behind us. The guy we are looking for is up there, and by the time we get in there, the safe zone will start to collapse.
So he must jump at some
Isn't
point.
it better to wait for him down here and save some more energy for upcoming battles? I would say it is much better. On top of that, look at my teammate. He understands what needs to be done, and even if we don't play a lot together, I have to give him a big shout out for such a great teammate that he is. You can clearly see that he has discipline, which on duo versus squads means way more than you can imagine. Shout out to you, soldier, and keep playing like that. Depending on the circumstances, you don't always have to chase the weak player. As you can see here, I gave him a ton of damage, but I couldn't knock him down. I gave up on the chase, and do you know why? This is the reason. Right here is another player. If I was to continue my chase, that player most probably would have shot me. He was observing and getting ready to shoot. And do you remember what I've told you on my most recent videos? Shoot at the enemy who wants to engage with you first. This poor guy was running for his life with a ton of damage, wasn't a threat for me anymore, so I left it to my teammate to take care of the other one. We both got skills, and everyone is happy. Now, picture this. If I was to chase the weak guy and his friend, they would have knocked me down. Would he be still in a good position to stop, reload, and kill my teammate as well? Of course he would. Sometimes you do everything right and you keep dying. In my case, when I die, I go and watch my live stream again and think to myself, what could I have done different in this scenario? And I sit in there for some time thinking of all the possibilities to avoid the same tragic ending again. Fortunately for you, you have me, and all you need to do is watch and learn. You have your teammate knocked down. He has cover on the blue container, but the last 3 players are pushing towards you. The only way to access your location is through here or here. Knowing that there are only 2 ways that they can reach you, would you rather use some cluster grenades on the entries to stop them coming towards your location until you save your friend, or will you keep using smoke for more protection? Or maybe you won't rescue him at all and fight them by yourself. Let me know in the comments. Type A if you would have used a cluster, B if you would have used smoke, and C if you would have let him die and fight the squad by yourself. Go on, soldier. You've got 10 seconds. The correct answer is A, B, and C. All of them are correct in this particular situation, but I chose to rescue my teammate using cluster, so after he revived he had time to heal as well before the enemies pushed forward. The other reason is that our enemies were fighting very close to one another. Probably they knew that this would be a hard battle, so if there was a chance to save my teammate and help me fight them, I would take it. These clips were taken from a live stream I did on Thursday. There are many other intense fights that I couldn't cover on this video. If you want to check them out, make sure you take a big coffee and some popcorn and enjoy 4 hours full of action and many wins. Click the first link on the description. Always say less than necessary. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Even if you are saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Gnaeus Marcius, also known as Coriolanus, was a great military hero of ancient Rome. In the first half of the 5th century BC, he won many important battles, saving the city from calamity time and time again. Because he spent most of his time on the battlefield, few Romans knew him personally, making him something of a legendary figure. In 454 BC, Coriolanus decided it was time to exploit his reputation and enter politics. He stood for election to the high rank of consul. Candidates for this position traditionally made a public address early in the race, and when Coriolanus came before the people, he began by displaying the dozens of scars he had accumulated over 17 years of fighting for Rome. Few in the crowd really heard the lengthy speech that followed. Those scars, proof of his valor and patriotism, moved the people to tears. Coriolanus's election seemed certain. When the polling day arrived, however, Coriolanus made an entry into the forum escorted by the entire Senate and by the city's patricians, the aristocracy. The common people who saw this were disturbed by such a blustering show of confidence on election day. And then Coriolanus spoke again, mostly addressing the wealthy citizens who had accompanied him. His words were arrogant and insolent, claiming certain victory in the vote. He boasted of his battlefield exploits, made sour jokes that appealed only to the patricians, voiced angry accusations against the opponents, and speculated on the riches he would bring to Rome. This time the people listened. They had not realized that this legendary soldier was also a common braggart. News of Coriolanus's second speech spread quickly through Rome, and the people turned out in great numbers to make sure he was not elected. Defeated, Coriolanus returned to the battlefield, bitter and vowing revenge on the common folk who had voted against him. Some weeks later, a large shipment of grain arrived in Rome. The Senate was ready to distribute this food to the people for free. But just as they were preparing to vote on the question, Coriolanus appeared on the scene and took the Senate floor. The distribution, he argued, would have a harmful effect on the city as a whole. Several senators appeared, won over, and the vote on the distribution fell into doubt. Coriolanus did not stop there. He went on to condemn the concept of democracy itself. He advocated getting rid of the people's representatives, the tribunes, and turning over the governing of the city to the patricians. When word of Coriolanus's latest speech reached the people, their anger knew no bounds. The tribunes were sent to the Senate to demand that Coriolanus appear before them. He refused. Riots broke out all over the city. The Senate, fearing the people's wrath, finally voted in favor of the grain distribution. The tribunes were appeased, but the people still demanded that Coriolanus speak to them and apologize. If he repented and agreed to keep his opinions to himself, he would be allowed to return to the battlefield. Coriolanus did appear one last time before the people, who listened to him in rapt silence. He started slowly and softly, but as the speech went on, he became more and more blunt. Yet again, he hurled insults. His tone was arrogant, his expression disdainful. The more he spoke, the angrier the people became. Finally, they shouted him down and silenced him. The tribunes conferred, condemned Coriolanus to death, and ordered the magistrates to take him at once to the top of the Tarpeian rock and throw him over. The delighted crowd seconded the decision. The patricians, however, managed to intervene, and the sentence was commuted to a lifelong banishment. When the people found out that Rome's great military hero would never return to the city, they celebrated in the streets. In fact, no one had ever seen such a celebration, not even after the defeat of a foreign enemy. Interpretation. Before his entrance into politics, the name of Coriolanus evoked awe. His battlefield accomplishments showed him as a man of great bravery. Since the citizens knew little about him, all kinds of legends became attached to his name. The moment he appeared before the Roman citizens, however, and spoke his mind, all that grandeur and mystery vanished. He bragged and blustered like a common soldier. He insulted and slandered people as if he felt threatened and insecure. Suddenly, he was not at all what the people had imagined. The discrepancy between the legend and the reality proved immensely disappointing to those who wanted to believe in their hero. The more Coriolanus said, the less powerful he appeared. A person who cannot control his words show that he cannot control himself and is unworthy of respect. Had Coriolanus said less, the people would never have had cause to be offended by him, would never have known his true feelings. He would have maintained his powerful aura, would certainly have been elected consul, and would have been able to accomplish his anti-democratic goals. But the human tongue is a beast that few can master. It strains constantly to break out of its cage, and if it is not tamed, it will run wild and cause you grief. Power cannot accrue to those who squander their treasure of words.
Soldiers, my mission ends here. My second YouTube channel is now on. This channel will be dedicated exclusively for live streams only. Go ahead and press that follow button if you want to see some real action. The link is in the description. I was Narco, #1 in the world for several seasons. Let me know if you have enjoyed my tips and tricks to bring you more. Cheers, mate.